at www.pardonmyeastside.com and use the promo code eBlockRadio to get 25% off. eBlock Radio is now available on the New Orleans Talk Network. Be sure to check them out and the rest of the podcasts that are available at NewOrleansTalkNetwork.com.
Show on the planet. E-Block Radio.
Check one, check two. Check one, check two. Mic check. Facebook Live, man. We in the building, man. E-Block Radio. Facebook Live, YouTube Live, man. We in the building. Yo, hit me in the comment box, man. Make sure you can hear me, dog. I see a few people checking in, so let me know. Make sure you can hear me well, because we getting ready to get rolling. Miriam, what up, though? Miriam just checked in. I'm solo dolo today, baby. What's good with you? Everybody took the day off and shit today. Yeah, thanks for hanging out, though. It's going to be a short show, because if I don't have a lot of people to talk to and shit, I'm going to probably cut it short. But thanks for checking us out. If you're on Facebook Live, man, hit me in the comment box. Let me know everything good. Make sure you can hear. Then we about to get started for real. If you just now, I'm doing good, baby. If you're just now checking in, man, today's hot topic, though, is was slavery motivated by race or economics, dog? We about to get into that in just a moment, man. I'm trying to make sure everything good. Let a couple people chime in before we all the way get started. We got a couple people on YouTube, man. What up, though? It's Friday, man. It's a motherfucking weekend. I know y'all excited about that. I kind of am. A little bit. I'll make sure the sound is good. Yep, because I can hear myself. All right, we'll give people a couple more minutes, man. Shout out to my man Monk Money holding down Easy Street Saloon right now. So he either running late or not going to be able to make it because it's already 10:20. So we're going to keep it moving. Let a couple more people check in. IG Live is popping right now, man. Thank y'all for checking us out. Again, if you're just now pulling up on IG, man, we're talking about slavery, man. Was it motivated by race or economics? That's what we want to know. But we got a few people checking in. We'll go ahead and get started. So let's do it. Yo, you know what it is, man. The Livest Cloud radio show on the planet, man. Straight from the E-Block Radio, live on your dial. Right this moment, man, is your boy, the Hood Howard Stern. Q Lewis holding it down live from the 48205, man. Actually holding it down for real, because I'm the only motherfucker here today. But shout out to my man Angry Man. I guess he might have been on his way. I'm not sure. Monk Money stuck at Easy Street Saloon, though, so he not going to be able to make it this morning. But we still going to have a good conversation. Soon as some more people chime in. But it is Friday, man, so make sure that you do check us out on Instagram and Twitter. So it's my man Real Monk Money, that's on Twitter and Instagram, and of course myself at Hood Howard Stern, that's on Twitter and Instagram as well. Don't forget to follow our IG page, the whole show, though, E-Block Radio. You can hit us up there. And then also don't forget to go to www.pardonmyeastside.com and support the brand, all right? So make sure you check out some hats, t-shirts, as you see now. I got my hat on right now. But I don't know. Right, everybody gone, man. I don't know where everybody at, man. They tripping. Damien, what up, though, man? Just checking in, dog. I'm holding down the fort solo dolo, man. Like the homies couldn't make it today, so we're going to have a real short show. But if you are on Instagram right now, you can comment on the hot topic, though. Was slavery motivated by race or by economics, dog? That's what we're talking about right now. Before we get into that, though, it is Friday, so I did want to jump off the weekend and tell you exactly how we got to this topic. All right, so if you guys watch D.L. Hughley, right, so watching the D.L. Hughley show last night, And this was his notes from the GED section. So if you're familiar with D.L. Hughley, this is what he does at the end. He does the notes from the GED section where he pull out a topic and then just kind of expound on it. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, we're gonna make the show together. That's what's up, man. Thanks for chiming in. All right, so yeah, so this is what he was talking about last night. Basically, it was a conversation that was had in a political forum, but we're not gonna get into the politics because I don't like talking about politics. But also what happened though, they was just basically talking about the fact of slavery being economically motivated or racially motivated. So I know a lot of I ain't gonna say a lot of white people, but from what he was saying last night, white people do kind of feel like it was just economically motivated. I don't really think so though. I think it's kind of racially, but we're gonna get into that in just a moment though. I don't want to get too far into it. Damien actually already has a comment. We're gonna read his comment in a minute. But right now, if you're looking at the polls, if you're on Facebook, man, right now the polls say it's 67% race, 33% economics, dog. So we're gonna get into this in just a minute, man. If you got a comment, hit me in the comment box right now. Either if you're on Facebook Live or on YouTube Live, man, hit me in the comment box. Let me know what you think, dog. So, all right, we're going to read Damien's joint. So Damien said it was race. If it were economics, there would have been white slaves, not just poor white people. All right, and that's what, and I agree with that. I agree with that wholeheartedly. So this is my thing, though. I think that when you get to the point where you kind of blame it on economics, because obviously I know that the need for cotton obviously was economically motivated, but the choice to bring Africans over from Africa was racially motivated, and that's the way I look at it. Mariam said the white people want power. The race, that's the big reason. Yeah, I mean that's definitely a reason. I think you couldn't have slavery without one race thinking that they were superior to another. So obviously I think that's gonna be the bottom line. So that to me makes it racially motivated. Period. Because I guess the whole argument is that a lot of people have slaves, which is true. Slavery is not a new thing. Like America didn't create slavery, but I think kind of like DL said, I really can't say it a different way, but America kind of what's the word? They perfected it. So they took slavery to another level. Like they took it up a notch. So definitely, I think it was racially motivated. And people who, because right now the polls say 67% say race, 33% say economics. I really wish like the 33% of people that said economics, I really wish I could get your comment. Like, man, just hit me in the comment box right now and tell me like what makes you feel like it's economically and not racially. I mean, I definitely think it's racially motivated because, like Mariam said just a moment ago, if it was just economics, like everybody would have been slaves. I mean, just bottom line, it wouldn't have just been Africans or nothing. It'd have been everybody. Everybody would have been slaves. Now, see, in some of these other places where people were enslaved, it came from like I'm not an advocate of war or nothing, but a lot of these places where slaves came out was pretty much it was a war fought. The people who lost the war end up being slaves of the the winners of the war. Which obviously I'm not an advocate of that shit, but it made more sense. At least at that point, it wasn't racially motivated. You lost the war, so you ended up being a slave for the winner. And I think obviously slavery ain't a thing that I'm an advocate of, but I think that makes more sense. Now in this aspect though, you're just talking about somebody who left one region and went to a whole nother, I was about to say plantation, a whole other continent and like just and took people. So the argument is that it wasn't racially motivated, but the need for the cotton and the type of work that was needed, obviously I guess black people fit the bill, all right, so to say, which is I think is purely what makes it racially motivated. I think it's really no question. It's kind of crazy that this is even a thing that people are opposing to that. But that 33% that said economics, man, I really wish I could get your comment, man. So hit me in the comment box right now. Either if you're on eblockradio.com, if you're on youtube.com, or if you're on Facebook Live, hit me in the comment box, dog. If you're on IG Live, you can hit me with another comment as well. But so yeah, this is what they were talking about last night on the DL Hughley show, and it's like none of the black people really could agree with the economics. And so I guess I gotta ask this question for the people that are watching now. Is it like, I kind of want to know, like, do you think that we are overly sensitive as black people? We just feel like it's race and it's not economics. Maybe we're not just looking at the bigger picture. That could be the case, but really I can't feel that shit though. In real life, I know that the economy is the reason why cotton was important, because obviously cotton was like the biggest money maker of all time back then. Like everything used cotton and it was being exported everywhere. So I know that it made a lot of money, but at the same time, that conscious decision to go to Africa to basically enslave people, because these slavery, like, they went to steal these people. Like some of the ones that were taken originally, it was fraudulently. Like, I guess obviously you offered these people something that really wasn't gonna happen. Like they gave them these false promises, and then next thing you know, they was in the bottom of the boat, and they changed their religion, changed everything about them. And then even when you look at this though, so even after slavery was quote unquote abolished, it still took 100 or over 100 years for them to actually get rights, and that's arguably that we actually got all the rights of human beings. But I mean, just the right to vote, just the right to sit at the counter with white people. This is after slavery. So that goes to show you right there that it was racially motivated. My man Damien said it was economics for the African nation that sold their enemies to the people on the boats. Yeah, and you know what? I can agree with that. I think it was obviously some greed and some economics and some shit going on in Africa too, which got us to this point. Definitely, I think that's something that we can't overlook, because it couldn't have happened if it kind of wasn't, people looked the other way on the other side, and I think it was some motivation there. So we can't take away from that. I mean, that did happen. So I mean, you can't blame it solely on the captors, because obviously some people allowed that to happen. But at the end of the day though, like on this side, on America's side, it's definitely racially motivated. And not only was it racially motivated then, but it is still racially motivated now. Because if slavery wasn't racially motivated, we wouldn't still be having race conversations to this day. Like, it's 2019. The fact that you having conversations trying to figure out whether slavery was motivated or by race or economics is asinine. Like, that it was racially motivated. At this point, all we need really is an apology and a solution. So this is where I think the argument of reparations comes in. I'm not all the way certain what reparations should look like. So I mean, this is a conversation that the Black Collective needs to have. For me, I think when we talked about this before, maybe a few weeks ago, we were talking about reparations, and I feel like reparations should come in a form, not something necessarily monetarily, but I would say reparations would be something to fix the infrastructures of our inner city communities. Possibly free education for a couple of generations. How about even some tax-free generations, or universal free health care? You know what I'm saying? Something tangible. So like, don't really just cut me the check, but give us something that'll fix or actually get us up to par. So I think free healthcare and life insurance and free education. And some overhauling of the infrastructure of the inner city, I think, would definitely serve as good reparations. So you wouldn't have to get an individual check, but definitely I think those things would actually help. So instead of trying to actually like make people believe, I mean, because basically trying to change the narrative, but make people believe that it was only economically motivated, so basically black people get over it and shit. I think that's always going to be an argument, but if you can get past that and just pretty much, if America ever admitted like that they fucked up, like, you know what, that shit was racially motivated, we sorry, here go this free education, I think we'd probably kind of leave shit alone. I think. I mean, at this point, you've been talking about generations where you're still talking about slavery, and just so you aware, you're not too far removed. I mean, you figure some of us have great grandparents who were actually products of slaves. You know what I'm saying? Like people who actually lived and worked on a plantation. So we are not that far removed. And just as simply, we can actually get back to that same thing. You might not look at it as traditional slavery, but it can definitely double back and get back into some shit like that. And DL said something last night, which I'm not sure if I agree, but I think it's something worth talking about. But he said that at this moment, this climate, that he thinks that if you actually put slavery on the ballot, that around 30% of people would actually vote yes for it. Like they would agree to slavery. I don't know about that one, man. If you're checking me out right now, hit me in the comment box and let me know if you agree with that. If you think that if slavery was actually on the ballot, would 30% people actually agree to slavery? Like, that's kind of crazy. I know we in a fucked up climate. I mean, definitely in a fucked up climate. I don't know if it's that bad, though, or I could be just a little naive, but I mean, there are a lot of Trump supporters who, this is a possibility. They might really go that angle. Venus just checked in. What up, though, Venus? Thanks for checking us out. My man Bo just checked in. D Will, what up, though? My man Kodak Lee checked in. Ryan, what up, though, Ryan? Just checked in. So, look, this is what we're talking about. If you're just now checking in, we're trying to figure out, was slavery motivated by race or economics? This is, again, spurring from a conversation that D.L. Hughley was having on the D.L. Hughley show last night. And I feel like it's racially motivated. People are trying to, definitely say that it could have been economically motivated. Now, again, I have to go back to this and say that the need for cotton and the cotton export was economically motivated. Obviously, like that was a vast majority of the economy. But the choice to steal black bodies from Africa to enslave them to do these jobs is definitely racially motivated. Like, you can't really tell me nothing else. My man Damien said 30% of people don't care and want to be entertained, so it's possible. All right, so if you don't know what we're talking about before, if anybody just chimed in, it was something else DL said last night that I commented on. And if you're listening right now, hit me in the comment box and tell me what you think. But he said that in this climate, that if slavery was on the ballot, probably around 30% of people would actually vote for it. I mean, I don't know if it's that bad. Like, I don't know if it's that fucked up. Again, maybe I'm just being naive and shit and don't want to believe it. But he says that probably 30% would actually vote for that shit. That's crazy. Right now, though, we got 60% says race is the motivation and 40% say economics. So that 40%, man, I know y'all out there, so hit me in the comment box and tell me why you think it's more economically motivated than race. Because I can't buy it. Like, I do understand that the need for cotton exportation was economically motivated. But stealing niggas from Africa was fucking racially motivated. It's like, there's nothing else you can tell me about that. Like, you really got to give me something else. I feel at this point, man, America's in a position where you just kind of gotta be like the cheating boyfriend and shit, right? You just gotta admit it and then offer the diamond ring and keep it moving and shit. That's what you gotta do, yo. Yo, if you on the IG Live, man, hit me in the comment box. If you're on Facebook Live, hit me in the comment box, or on E-Block Radio, or on YouTube Live. You can hit me in the comment box and we will read your comments live on air. For the moment, though, it is 10:38, so we are about to go to a commercial break. Don't forget, man, we got the polls up too, so make sure you hit that poll. We're trying to figure out, was slavery motivated by race or economics? Hit that poll right now. 60% say race, 40% say economics, dog. So we'll get to that in a minute. But in the meantime, man, check out our couple of commercials, and we'll be back in about 45 seconds, man. You already know what it is. The Livest Cloud Radio Show on the planet, straight from the E-Block Radio Live on your dial, man. We'll be back in about 45 seconds.
How in the hell you gonna sit with me knowing you was the craziest nigga in town?
Drowning in the depths of love.
Wait, baby, he didn't know. He's young and stupid.
Don't know where
Said
to
don't
hide.
call me no more.
I need for you to take care of Debbie, especially Marcus.
Run away. I need to cut
take care of
away
my
from
own
this
son,
pain
alright?
that's killing me.
Don't
Lost
So how you
in the
holding up,
depths of
Dad?
love.
God, Lenny, don't do this!
Feeling lonely and empty-hearted. Don't know how the hell it started, but it's you that I'm feeling for, feeling for, feeling for. It's 'cause I feel the empty. 'Cause you mess around and it's pulling me down.
The livest cloud radio show on the planet. E-Block Radio.
And we're back. What up, y'all? Man, thanks for checking us back out. Of course, you know what it is, man. The livest cloud radio show on the planet, man. Straight from the E-Block Radio. Live on your dial right this moment, man. And of course, it's your boy, the Hood, Howard Stern. Q Lewis holding it down live from the 48205, man. We in the building. Just rapping on IG with a couple of homies, dog. So while we was on commercial break, talking about the Easy Street Saloon. So make sure that you do make it down to the Easy Street Saloon. That's 16101 East 10 Mile Road. That's in East Point, Michigan. 16101. Also, too, man, don't forget that right now we are connected with Grubhub. So you can actually order food from Easy Street without actually pulling up. So we are connected with Grubhub. So you can hit them up on Grubhub or go to the website www.easystreetsaloon.com, or you can go there and get your food ordered and get it delivered straight to you. All right, so we're getting back to the subject at hand. Was slavery motivated by race or by economics, dog? So right now, 67% say race, 33% say economics. So Venus say, I'm not sure, but I do know that when I was working doing surveys, a lot of Caucasians that we surveyed with the question, does racism exist? And a lot of people said no. I think a lot of white people really think that it doesn't exist. Some black people too, though. And she said against black people. I meant to add, yeah, that's definitely. I think a lot of white people don't recognize racism. I guess or even some black people, when you don't have to deal with it on a regular basis, then you kind of act like it doesn't exist. I mean, if you're trying to connect it with like the racism of actual slavery or the actual segregation type of thing, then you might look at it as it not being existent. But at the end of the day, man, the institutionalized racism is still there. I mean, that definitely hasn't went anywhere. My man Bo checked in. He said initially slavery has to be economically motivated. Right. So this is my thing, Bo. I definitely agree with that, because I feel like the need for cotton and the need for cotton exportation was definitely economically motivated. The choice to go to Africa to pluck niggas and make them do the work and shit was racially motivated. So he said simply because they were looking for a free workforce. Race was the mechanism they used to justify what they were doing. Those black folks are Africans. Who cares? They're less than people. Right, and that's the thing. So that's where I think the race came in. So the need economically, like you said, was to have the cotton, have this work done basically for free. So that was definitely economically motivated. But the choice to pluck niggas from Africa was definitely racially motivated, and it's like, I don't even see how you can see it otherwise. Like, I don't know how somebody can think that. Because I think the way I'm tripping because I didn't get into the whole story. I think it was a senator maybe, or it was somebody in the White House having this argument though. And that's what DL was talking about on the show last night. And basically he was saying that it was economically feasible for them to do so, and also the choice for like basically Africans being slaves was not based on race, but based on ability. All right. So they whole thing was that they needed somebody who could work day in and day out like that, who was kind of built for this shit. So they saying that because of that, it wasn't racially motivated. I think because of that makes it definitely racially motivated. Like, that don't even make sense. Venus says slavery was motivated by both race and economics. Blacks were considered not smart, so slave owners used them to gain profit from their free work. Yeah, definitely, I agree. Damien said, look at the 13th Amendment. It ends slavery except for prison labor. However, that ended black people working for free. That's race. Oh yeah, for sure. If you're not hip to the 13th Amendment, I mean, basically it was just a way. So this is how it worked. All right, in case you're not familiar. So the 13th Amendment was the amendment made to basically abolish slavery. The clause in Amendment 13 was that kind of free labor, or that slave labor, is still feasible if you are incarcerated, pretty much, right? So you might say, like, you know what, those are criminals and shit. They locked up. They should have their freedom stripped away. But then you got to look at what really happened after that. So after that was put in, then that's when, like, right after slavery was abolished, black people started going to jail for like little shit like loitering or you know, like little petty shit that you wouldn't spend time in jail for, and then start getting excessive charges and excessive jail time. That sound familiar, right? So that never stopped. So that clause is still in Amendment 13 and shit. So really, it ended classical slavery, but I mean it's still basically slavery. So when you are incarcerating one set of people at a astronomical rate, you are basically putting them back into slavery, and that's the thing, dog. And just to piggyback on that real quick. While we talk about mass incarceration, I do got my book, of course, Those Brilliant Bastards, which is a novel about mass incarceration. So I talk about this a lot. All right. So if you see this book right here, if you're on IG Live, you see this book too, Those Brilliant Bastards. Make sure you check me out on Amazon.com. You can order your own copy or hit me in the comment box right now for only the 20 ball, dog. You hit me with the 20, I'll sign it and everything and send it anywhere in America. All right. So anyway, just shameless plug. I had to talk about that real quick, but that's the reality of things, though. I mean, it really is. Bo said you waiting on one white person to say we were slaves too. Now the thing is, though, is that white people, a whole lot of people have been slaves. Like I give you that. Now these were under separate circumstances, though. Like I mentioned this before, a lot of slavery came out of the loss of wars, right? Again, I'm not an advocate of any kind of slavery, but at least to me that makes sense. Like, so if you go to war with people and then they end up being in power, then they enslave some people. And again, I'm not an advocate of slavery, but that part makes sense. To go to another continent and selectively steal people for your economical gain, that's some shit that needs to be fixed. It's like everybody, again, I don't want to be the crybaby Negro and shit, but in real life, everybody has been made whole, or at least there's been an attempt to make them whole after America has done them wrong. Like, there's been an attempt with Native Americans. There's been an attempt with Asian Americans with the internment camps that they had during Vietnam and shit. Like, there's been efforts to make them whole and shit, but with us, it's never the case. And again, I don't want to be the crybaby Negro and shit, but at what point are we gonna get, like, what's ours? And I thought me and Bo and a couple of other homies always talk about this, man. What's really gonna be necessary it's like a real revolution, and it's kind of scary to say that in public and shit. But I think that's the real life thing. But the thing about revolution though is that I don't know how many people are actually willing to be involved in the revolution, because I don't think you understand the velocity of a revolution. That means that you'll probably die trying, and I don't know how many black people are actually willing to go that far to bat for other black people. And which is kind of fucked up, because it's the truth, and it kind of piggyback off of the movie. I don't know if I mentioned this to you guys on Wednesday about Black and Privilege. I don't know if you checked that out on Netflix yet, but it was a tight knit community where they really took this unity and this community shit serious. Like when other people moved in, they got them in line to get with the community rules. People who lived within the community that weren't black and tried to like basically prosper off of our blackness and shit, but then were disrespectful. Like they got rid of those businesses. Like they physically went in and threw people out of their community who was like, fucking up the community. It's tough for us to get to that point. So when you talk about revolution, and honestly, I think that's what's needed. I just don't know how many black people are willing to go to bat for their black brothers and sisters and shit at this point to that degree. Like back in the day, I know they did it because it's like, it was kind of do or die. Like now we see so much opportunity. We feel like it's black billionaires. We had a black president. Black people are somewhat prospering in certain arenas, and I think that takes away from our, our need or the necessity to kind of go to bat for our brothers and sisters. So I think that's why a true revolution at this day and age is kind of far-fetched, to be honest with you. I don't know what needs to happen to get us back on the same page. TT Talks just checked in. What's happening, TT? How you doing? So get back to the comments real quick, because we got about 10 minutes left. Venus says, "Book, good book, by the way." Oh, thank you. He's talking about my book. Thanks. I'm glad you liked it. She said it happened during biblical times, during wars, but not where people were killed, not enslaved. Right, so that's why I say like slave type shit been going on for a long time. Like even back in those biblical days, black people that got money don't care or think about what they came from. They just start to think about what they have, self-absorbed. I think that's a thing too. But then also, this is something else we talked about too, like in a couple of my group texts. I think when people get into a position where they're affluent or have multiple resources, I think that our standard finally is raised and shit. Like as black people, we got to be honest with ourselves. A lot of black people, a lot of our communities, our standards just ain't high enough. Like, I mean, let's just be real about it. That's some shit that we have to be accountable for. Some of our standards are just not high enough. And then sometimes you get in certain venues, or you get to a certain class rate, and you really start realizing like you got to step your game up. And when other people don't step their game up, you kind of like, it's fucked up, because we get into a position where like, damn, like we don't want to help. And that's the mindset that we got to get out of. TT said it all boils down to us not wanting to kill or die for it, not willing to kill or die for it. Definitely, I agree, and that's and that's exactly what I'm saying. I don't think at this point that we're capable or in large enough numbers willing to actually kill or die for the betterment of the black community. And that's, until that happens, I mean, it's a tough thing, because there's a gray area. It's a very thin line between being militant and being a nationalist. You know what I'm saying? So, and the word black nationalist has gotten so many people killed. And I think because of that, like there's a fear in having like a true motherfucking like a true revolution, dog. And that's, I don't know. I don't really, it's some crazy shit. Like this is tough. This is a tough situation, and I think we're probably right now, because of some of the people's economical statuses, I think we may actually be in one of the best positions to do it, but not in the best mindset to do it, because the people who are capable are probably not willing. It's the people who are at the bottom struggling the most, seeing the most racism, dealing with the most adversity are the ones who are willing to kill and die for it. But we're not the ones who can economically fund it. So people who are economically not as challenged and shit, I don't see them as being willing and, willing and able to kill or die for an actual movement. You know what I'm saying? TG says very true, and that's why we are in the predicament we are in. That's for sure. Great point. Oh, thank you. I try to make a little great point and shit. Sometimes I be trying to be a little educational, and then other times I just be high and I just be talking out the side of my neck. But today is one of those days. I'm trying to be educational. Let me see. Venus said we need to help others raise up as well. Pay it forward. So it's another thing, real quick though, because we've run out of time. But that's another point that was raised in that movie. I'm telling you, if you haven't watched it right now, man, make sure you check out on Netflix. Black and Privileged. All right, make sure you check that out because this was one of them situations where basically, if you don't know the movie or the storyline, I'll break it down real quick. It was a nice little affluent black neighborhood in Chicago where like all these people were in the community, doctors, lawyers, entrepreneurs, a few athletes, and they really kept their community tight knit. So they had their own education system. They hired their own police force. So like everything was contained by the community. So something like a real black utopia. Like this is something that's definitely necessary. But anyway, around the corner it was the projects, and the projects got torn down. So all the people who lived in the projects started moving into the neighborhood. And that was the thing. Like when they came into the neighborhood, instead of like it was some apprehension at first because they felt like we built up this community. We don't want a bunch of niggas moving in. I mean, that's kind of what the base of the shit was. But then what happened was they learned how to incorporate things from both sides. So even though people from the project didn't have as many resources, they taught them how to use the resources they did have and pool them all together and work as a community. And that's something that's definitely missing from our community. Like because I have to be honest, when I first saw it, I was like, damn. Like they about to tear up the projects, like they about to fuck their little community up. Like I said that as a joke, but then that actually is our mindset, and that's something that we have to get out of. Like in order to even move forward, we got to get out of shit like that because at the end of the day, we got a whole fucking situation to fight, and then at the same time we fighting each other up, and so that overcoming that is definitely a great piece to it. Venus said you gotta go watch it now. Yeah, that shit is. Yeah, that shit is good though. There are no more strong leaders. Everybody's scared. Everybody ain't scared, but a lot of us are scared. And we talk about it. So I use platforms like this, to kind of fight our fight and have our voice because having a podcast and being able to stream live on air internationally, like I think this is one way that we fight shit. Like we talk a lot of shit and we have a lot of fun, but at the end of the day we try to spit a little knowledge too. We try to give people a little information because this is a great platform to have and I definitely don't want to waste it. So that's my fighting tool and shit. So I might not be on the front lines shooting and stabbing motherfuckers, but we definitely can arm ourselves with our voices, and that's one thing that we're doing over here. Bo said already taught this already fought this country, definitely ready to move for my people. That's what's up. Yeah, because like I said, people who've been to the army, like my man Bo, who did arms, the military. You already fought for this country, so at this point, you fought for something, and what you fought for is something that wasn't realized. And what I mean by wasn't realized is something that's not actually coming to fruition at this point. So definitely, I think people coming back from the military have an extra incentive because they want America to be the America that they fought overseas for. And I think that's even more important. Yeah, we only got like a minute left, dog. So if you got a last minute comment on IG Live, Facebook Live, or on eblockradio.com, and make sure you hit me in the comment box right now. But in the meantime, we're getting ready to wrap it up. So if you got a last minute comment, go ahead and drop it in there right now, and then we go wrap it up. But also too, I just want to get back real quick because I'm a starving artist. So again, don't forget to check out my book, man, Those Brilliant Bastards, available right now on Amazon.com. You can order those today from Amazon.com, or you can order it directly from me. Just hit me in the inbox, man. It's only for a modest $20, all right? You can get an autographed copy, and I will send it anywhere in the United States of America. So as long as you're in the USA, I'll send it anywhere in the USA for no additional charge, you know what I'm saying? But, all right, till the next time, though, because I don't think we got any more comments. And it's 11 o'clock, so I'm getting ready to get my weekend started. Don't forget, man, if you are in the Detroit area or on the East Point or Roseville area, make sure that you stop down at 16101 East 10 Mile Road. That's the Easy Street Saloon. Check out my man Monk Money holding down the kitchen down there, man. It's the Easy Street Saloon. And don't forget, if you can't make it, they are connected with Grubhub right now. You can get your shit delivered right from the website, easystreetsaloon.com, dog. But, yeah, I know we missed Monk today, too, man. But I held it down for all three of us. You know what I'm saying? Angry Man was absent, too, but I held it down for everybody. Thank you to all the listeners who made this a great show today. I was able to go back and forth with y'all, so I felt like I had co-hosts all day. So thank y'all for chiming in, man. Y'all definitely keep the show going. I'm going to have a great weekend, Venus. You do the same. But till the next time, dog, you know what it is. Damien, when we meet, I'm gonna get, oh, yeah, I got you, dog. I got your signed copy, dog. Hit me up this weekend, dog. We can catch up. All right, then, let me do that again. You already know what it is, man. The Livest Cloud Radio Show on the planet, man. Straight from the E-Block Radio live on your dial, man. Till the next time, it's your boy, the Hood Howard Stern, Q Lewis, holding it down live from the 48205, man. Peace out, y'all.